Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. It is pre-match build-up time. Liverpool are back playing competitive football. Pre-season is over and we are playing Watford this weekend in the Premier League. Now, I know on the surface that doesn't sound exciting. Watford is not exactly the biggest tie we'll play this season, but Liverpool are back playing in the Premier League, and if that doesn't get you excited, then I don't know what will. So we're back with the pre-match build-up shows and getting straight into it. How confident do we feel going into this game? Me personally, off the back of pre-season, I am feeling fairly confident. I mean, we played 8 games in pre-season, so we had plenty of time to get back to fitness, to look sharp, and we basically did. I mean, Liverpool look more than fit enough to start the Premier League season now. They look sharp. The team gelled very well together as well during pre-season. I mean, Mo Salah is the only real big first-team addition that's come in so far this summer transfer window, and he fits the team like a glove. He's just gone straight in. He fits them perfectly. He looks like he's been at the club for years now, and the team just gels really well. I mean, the only time that we really saw a first 11 that was close to the team that I think will start the game against Watford was the game against Bayern Munich, and we played very, very well in that match. And if we take that level of performance that we had against Bayern and bring it into this match, then I don't think we should have any worries about how this game is going to turn out. If I had one little quibble, one little issue with how pre-season has gone, I would say that we haven't really necessarily addressed a lot of the problems from last season that we knew and said needed to be fixed. I mean, the big problems from last season really were defending crosses and loose balls and set-piece kind of situations and individual defensive errors. And of the goals that we have conceded in pre-season, we haven't conceded many. I think it's like 4 that we conceded, but all of those have come from situations like that. They have been crosses, second balls, loose balls, or defenders just kind of making individual errors that have cost the team. So those problems still look like they're there, and so that does worry me ever so slightly. And the other problem that existed last season that I don't think we have necessarily addressed is the issue of breaking down teams that sit back, park the bus and just look to defend. I mean, we played Leicester and Crystal Palace, who are teams that will probably look to do that against us this season. We played them in the Asia Trophy and we won both of those games, but we didn't necessarily do that much in those games to allay my fears that Liverpool are capable of stopping these situations from giving them issues this season. But hopefully those problems won't be too impacting on how this season goes. I think pre-season did go very well apart from those issues, and we do look very much ready for this coming match against Watford. So injury news, the players that Liverpool are missing that I think we all know about. Adam Lallana is out for still a couple of months now. I can't quite remember what he injured, but it is a serious injury and he will be out of the team for the foreseeable future. Klopp said a couple of months. He didn't necessarily say 2 months, so it's hard to tell exactly how long he's going to be out, but he definitely won't be available for this game. Nathaniel Klein is still missing after the injury that he sustained in training right at the start of pre-season. He still hasn't recovered from that. So those are the 2 players in the first team that will be missing from this game. Henderson is probably, I think it's safe to say, going to be back from whatever illness struck him down and stopped him playing against Athletic Bilbao. And Coutinho looks like he's going to be over that sore back issue that also stopped him playing against Bilbao. I mean, there hasn't really been much to go on. There hasn't been much info to come out of the club or any other sources to say whether or not he's going to be fit to play this game. The only actual resource I had for this was if you go on the Premier League fantasy football site, it says that he has a 75% chance of playing in this game. So if we're basing it off that, it looks like he probably will play. Whether that means that he'll only play 60 minutes or he might even come on as a sub, I personally think that, especially given that he is Liverpool's best player and we do need him in this game, I think he's going to start the match. If you want to know exactly what starting 11 I think that Liverpool are going to put out, then don't forget to check out the FIFA 17 predictor, which will be coming out tomorrow on this channel for the game against Watford, to see exactly what I think Liverpool are going to put out as their starting 11, as well as predicting the actual result of the match. So taking a little bit of a look at Watford, they haven't necessarily done anything crazy in the summer transfer window. They recently signed a fella called Richarlison, who is a Brazilian forward who played for Grêmio. I don't know that much about him apart from that. He hasn't necessarily seemed to have set the world on fire or anything. He can't be that good in theory, because otherwise another club would have picked him up, like when City signed Gabriel Jesus. So who really knows? Maybe he's amazing. Maybe he'll, tear us apart on Saturday, but it doesn't necessarily fill me with fear, that kind of signing. They have apparently agreed a fee for Andre Gray. And that is a little bit of a worry because, as we all know, Andre Gray was the player who basically destroyed all of our pre-season optimism last season, where Liverpool were amazing. They battered Barca, they put 4 past Arsenal, and then they went to Turf Moor. They played Burnley, and Andre Gray absolutely ruined us. We lost 2-0, and we decided that the title challenge was over there and then. So that'll be a huge test for Liverpool, Andre Gray. I mean, apparently a fee is agreed, but the signing hasn't been announced, so it's not necessarily certain that he will actually play against us, but I think Watford will probably look to get that deal over the line in time for him to play against Liverpool. So don't hold your breath, don't cross your fingers for that one. I think he probably will play against us, but it will be a huge test for Liverpool because, as I said, we did have those same issues in pre-season with how we defended high balls and set pieces and loose balls and stuff like that. And Andre Gray is the kind of player who will look to exploit that. So Liverpool have got a big chance this early on in the season, in the very first game of the Premier League campaign, to show that those problems have been dealt with and they've actually fixed themselves up ready for this new season. In terms of how Watford's pre-season has gone, they've been fairly meh. They've played 5 games, they've won 2, lost 2 and drawn 1. They've played some fairly standard opposition like Rangers and Eibar, the Spanish team, so they've done all right. They haven't set the world on fire, they haven't been terrible, so there's not a huge amount to go on. This will of course be Marco Silva's first competitive game in charge of the club. Liverpool fans will know him from last season when we lost to Hull 2-0 at the KC Stadium in one of Marco Silva's first games in charge. I'm tempted to say it was his first game, but I'm not entirely sure it was. But it was one of his first games in charge of Hull and we got absolutely torn apart. So again, another opportunity to prove that we have now, during this pre-season, dealt with the problems that existed last season, but it will be interesting to see how that pans out. So with the return of the pre-match build-up show, it also means the return of 3 reasons why I think we will beat them. The thing that I did every single show last year, because I'm an optimist. I like to think that Liverpool can go into every game being able to win it. I don't think there's any team on the planet that we can't beat, and so I'm going to give 3 reasons, as I always do, why I think we will beat Watford. And starting off, I mentioned how Watford's pre-season went. I mentioned how they played 5 games, and I think Liverpool have just prepared a little bit better than Watford. We obviously played more games. We played 8 matches in total over pre-season. We did do probably a bit more jet setting than Watford did, I imagine. I mean, we had the Hong Kong tour, we had the Germany trip, so we've been around the block a little bit more than they have, so we might be a little bit more tired. But as I said, we've played more games. I don't know that much about how Watford have necessarily trained in pre-season, but I doubt they will have done it quite as intensely as Liverpool have, because we all know that Jurgen Klopp likes his triples training sessions in pre-season. We know that he basically worked the squad to death during pre-season, especially on the camp they went to Germany with when they played against Berlin, Bayern and Atletico Madrid. They also had a training camp there where they were just worked to the bone completely. So I imagine that we will have prepared better in pre-season, and I think we're probably more likely to come flying out of the blocks against Watford, and hopefully that should work in our favour, and hopefully because of that we can blow them away. On to my second reason why I think we'll beat them. I normally put a single player in here who I think will make the difference during the match, and it is of course Phil Coutinho. I don't buy the idea that he's actually going to leave during this week. I don't think that deal is going to actually get over the line at all for him to apparently go to Barca during this summer. I think he will stay at Liverpool, and like I said, I think he probably will start this game simply because he is our best player, he is our most influential player, and when he is in that deep-lying midfield role, he is absolutely crucial to Liverpool because, as I mentioned, a problem we had last season that hasn't necessarily been addressed this pre-season is our ability to break down teams who park the bus and set up to play on the counter-attack, and I don't doubt that Watford will do that in this game. Obviously Marco Silva, he's an optimistic manager, he's a bit like Eddie Howe in that he wants his teams to play good football, but I don't doubt that he will look to mostly defend in this game against Liverpool. So having Phil Coutinho in that withdrawn role I think will be absolutely crucial for us, because the problem last season we had where we couldn't break teams down was that there wasn't that much creativity in the midfield. There weren't really any players who were able to create chances and get the most out of our front 3, and I think with Coutinho playing in that withdrawn role, he is just so much better when he has players in front of him. So when he has Mane to the left of him, Firmino in front of him and Salah to his right, I think he is capable of doing an awful lot of damage. So provided he does start, which I think he will, still fingers crossed on that one, we'll have to sit tight and hope that he does start, but like I said, I think he will. I think Coutinho will be absolutely crucial to getting the win for Liverpool in this game. And finally, I think Liverpool will be a lot better defensively in this game than I think a lot of fans expect them to be. Like I said, the whole issue with Andre Gray is going to be a test for us. He is going to test whether or not we've improved from last season. And like I said, there were still problems existing during pre-season that suggested we haven't got over those issues yet. But as Jurgen Klopp and a couple of other players at Liverpool have said, defence has been a very big thing that's been worked on during pre-season. Jurgen Klopp has worked a lot on getting his defenders to be more focused. He thinks that they are capable of producing the quality that's needed, and I think I kind of trust him on that. I know that we obviously want Liverpool to bring in more defenders, and I think we do still need to sign Van Dijk. I trust him that if he thinks he can get the most out of these players, then I think he can. So hopefully Liverpool will have improved. Obviously, coming up against Andre Gray, we're in a slightly better position than we were last season, because when we played Burnley at the beginning of last season, we had Ranier Klavan in defence, whereas now we will have Joel Matip. But like I said, it will be a test, but it is one that I think Liverpool should hopefully pass with flying colours. So that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, why not give it a like? If you're new around here as well, why not hit that subscribe button and check out the FIFA 17 predictor if it's already out. If so, the button will be there. If not, there'll be another video there. Don't forget to check out that video down there as well, whatever that is. Apart from that, don't forget to follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter as well, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye for now.